Tree or Tumbleweed, Haftarat Bechukotai. Haftarat Parashat Bechukotai, the Haftarah we'll be discussing this week, presents a familiar challenge that's been following me ever since I started engaging with the Haftarot. On the one hand, it feels like I shouldn't need to state the obvious. On the other hand, many Haftarot were chosen precisely because they do state the obvious. Summing up Parashat Bechukotai isn't difficult, aside from the section on valuations, Arachin, a chapter that sometimes feels forgotten due for lack of public interest. The parasha mainly deals with reward and punishment. Or in the words of the Prime Minister, if they give, they will get. If they don't, they won't. Im yitnu, yekablu, lo yitnu, lo yekablu. Broadly speaking, that's the story of our Haftarah as well. If you filter out the opening verses so we don't start on a negative note and closing verses so we don't end on one either, the Haftarah deals with the good that befalls a man who trusts in Hashem, or unfortunately the opposite. That's true broadly, but you probably already guessed that someone as nitpicky as me doesn't look at things broadly, right? Time to dig into the details. Biblical commentators have long been troubled by a fundamental question. If the primary reward for observing the commandments is meant to be in the world to come, why does the Torah focus so much on material rewards in this world? Actually, let me qualify that. When I say biblical commentators, I mean mostly Rabbi Shlomo Ephraim of Lunchitz in his commentary Kli Yakar. But since he offers 7 different answers from 7 different thinkers, it feels like this question has indeed bothered the collective world of commentators. I won't lay out all the answers he brings, but here's a representative sample. The Kli Yakar states that Maimonides in Ilchot Deot claims that the Torah doesn't emphasize reward in the world to come because Hashem didn't want people performing mitzvot for the reward. By this logic, material reward is for the weak. That's not why most people should be observing commandments. Ibn Ezra argues that the Torah is meant for everyone, and although his answer goes against my thousands of hours of experience in the education system, I'll try to explain it. The Torah wasn't written for scholars alone, it had to be accessible to all. Abstract concepts like the afterlife are beyond the average person's grasp throughout history, so when the Torah speaks of reward and punishment, it sticks to the tangible, relatable terms. Concrete reward. Rabbeinu Bechai ibn Pekuda, author of Chovat HaLevavot, offers a different angle. The Torah doesn't bother stating the obvious. For example, it doesn't need to teach us that if you want to live, you need to eat. Is there spiritual reward in the world to come for keeping Torah and mitzvot? Obviously. Tell me something I don't know. Rain in its season? Now you have my full attention. I, however, believe the point of the Haftarah is to render the whole question unnecessary. Yirmiyahu speaks of the difference between 2 types of people, the cursed man who trusts in humans and the blessed man who trusts in God. The one who relies on people finds himself in times of trouble like a bush in the desert. He has no idea where his next meal will come from or if it will come from anywhere at all. He's relying on a limited being, so in a crisis, his support is limited. In contrast, the one who trusts in Hashem is like a tree planted by the water. Is there a drought? That's unfortunate, but it's not really his problem. His leaves still flourish, his fruits still grow. And if we borrow from Tehillim, everything he does shall prosper. He leans on the Creator, the all-powerful, so by nature he isn't bound by scarcity in hard times, let alone in good ones. So how does this make the question unnecessary? Because I believe the Haftarah's selectors didn't see the blessing and curses in the parasha as punishment or reward, but as a consequence. Just as a desert bush withers, not because someone wants to punish it, and a tree by the water continues to thrive not because it's being rewarded, but simply as a result of where it's rooted, so too, one who trusts in Hashem, by walking in his statutes and keeping his commandments, naturally receives rain, grain, and wine. He places his trust in Hashem, and Hashem, the all-powerful, governs not only the spiritual, but also the physical world. Returning to the broad picture, there are all kinds of Haftarot. Some explain the parasha, some challenge it, some reflect on it, and some broaden it with a new perspective. Haftarat Bechukotai, it renders it irrelevant. not the parasha, but the question that might not have bothered someone living in biblical times, but has certainly preoccupied Chazal in generations that follow. Instead of explaining why the Torah emphasizes material reward, it offers a completely different framework. Blessing and curse aren't reward and punishment, they're consequences, and it's as simple as that. In loving memory of my heroic student Amichai Shimon ben Ishai and Bat Yarubin Hashem Bikom Damo, Dovi Holtz, one who loves Tanakh.